Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. This review is for Baddies USA Chapter 2, Episode 11. So let's just get right into it because a lot happened in this episode. So this episode of Baddies picks up where the last one left off, where the baddies end up going ATV riding with Natalie, and things get heated between Lex and Fauna. They're going back and forth about Fauna macing Lex in their fight that they had, and Lex ends up spitting on Fauna, and it lands too. It was absolutely disgusting. I mean, her spit landed right on Fauna's edges, and it was just stuck there. I honestly wish that Lex wouldn't have spit at Fauna because I do feel like she's above that, and I just wish that she wouldn't have done that. I know you can't tell somebody how to react to being maced, and I agree with that, but I don't like when any of the girls spit on this show. However, I do feel like it's fake outrage from the fans because most of these girls on this show have spit at each other at some point in time, and I feel like the backlash that Lex got was definitely over the top because had anybody else would have spit at Fauna, I don't think they would have gotten as much backlash. I believe that the backlash is because it was Lex that did it. Because I didn't see anybody have this same reaction when Pressure spit on Diamond in the same episode, and then obviously when Fauna spit blood on Tavi at the reunion, nobody said anything about it. And I just feel like if you're gonna have a problem with people spitting, you should have a problem with it no matter who does it. Don't pick and choose who you're gonna drag for doing it. Because when Fauna spit blood at Tavi, which is absolutely disgusting, nobody had this energy for her. I just wish the girls on this show would stop spitting altogether, because we even seen a preview for next week's episode at the end of this episode, and we saw the girls spitting at each other again, and this time it wasn't involving Lex and Fauna, it was two other girls, which is disgusting. So I want to see if the fans keep the same energy with the girls that spit at each other in next week's episode the way that they had when it came to Lex, because that'll tell me if you're being biased or if you genuinely just don't like when people spit. But Fauna tries to pick up a rock and throw it at Lex, and honestly, I can understand how mad she was, because if somebody spit at me, I would be that mad too, and I would probably pick up something as well, but she never got to actually hit Lex with a rock. Lex and Fauna are running around in the dirt. Fauna's trying to throw something, and she ends up slipping and falling in the dirt, and I'm not gonna lie, I did feel bad for her a little bit, because not only did she get spit on, but she also fell all in the dirt. But Dolly narrating this whole thing was really funny to me. Like, Dolly has been hilarious this season so far. But they finally end up getting on the buses to leave, and Fauna's on the phone with somebody saying that she's not playing fair anymore, and I'm like, babe, you already haven't been playing fair because you used mace in a fight with Lex. That's the reason why she spit on you to begin with. I don't agree with the spitting, but that's why you got spit on, because you weren't playing fair. Now, Kanaya ends up going to get her nails done with Ciroc, and she tells Ciroc that she invited Biggie, and Ciroc starts telling Kanaya that the only reason why she even attacked Biggie was because Tommie gave her a list of baddies that she wanted her to attack, so it wasn't just necessarily Biggie that was supposed to get touched, it was a few other baddies as well that Tommie wanted her to fight, and she claims that she wasn't even the only girl that was at that event that night that Biggie got attacked. There were other girls that Tommie had there too that was supposed to attack some of the baddies. It's just that Ciroc was the only one that actually did it. And I think that's crazy. I mean, I definitely think that Tommie brings entertainment to the show. If you don't think she does, then we can't be watching the same show. So I understand why Zeus keeps bringing her back. But that is really dangerous that she has all these girls set up at events so that they can attack some of the baddies. Like, somebody can seriously get hurt. They really need to either get Tommie off the show or amp up security. Because if this already happened once, it can definitely happen again. But Biggie ends up showing up, and she was honestly a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that Ciroc was there, because she claims that she got a restraining order out on Ciroc, and I know some people were saying that that was lame that Biggie did that, but this is somebody who attacked her that she did not know. This is an outsider, not somebody who was actually a part of the cast at the time that she was attacked. So I completely understand her feeling the need to try to protect herself. I feel like when it comes to outsiders, you absolutely should press charges on them, or you should get restraining orders on them, because you don't know what exactly they'll do. They're not contracted to the show, so they'll do absolutely anything to you. So I think she did the right thing by trying to protect herself. And I don't even always agree with everything Biggie does. I've been very critical of Biggie over the past few seasons that she's been on, but in this particular situation, I can understand why she did what she did. But I'm a little bit confused because both Ciroc and Biggie said in this particular scene that they had not seen each other or spoken to each other since they saw each other at the rehearsals, and Ciroc apologized to her, and that was the only time that they've seen each other. So I'm confused as to why in last week's episode, Tesehki's friend and Mariah were trying to say that Biggie was caught hanging out out with both Kanaya and Ciroc nights before this. Somebody's lying because they're saying in this scene with Kanaya, Ciroc, and Biggie that this is the first time they were seeing each other since the apology in the rehearsals, and yet Tesehki's friend is claiming that they've seen each other before this. So I'm a little bit confused about this situation. But the baddies end up going to Vegas for a day party that Natalie put together because the baddies are going to be performing, and Lex, Dolly, Wet Wet, and Mariah Lynn end up showing up first, and then Bahati, Neek, and Ciroc end up showing up next. And everything was going good until Ciroc sits down and Mariah Lynn starts immediately coming at her, and she starts asking Ciroc if there's a problem still between the two of them, and Ciroc is ignoring her, and I feel like she was doing the right thing because this wasn't the time or the place for them to be getting into it. This was for them to perform, so I don't understand why Mariah was trying to press the issue with Ciroc, especially because wasn't she just mad at Biggie in last week's episode because she said the only reason why Ciroc keeps trying to attack her is because of Biggie, but yet she's the one who keeps pressing Ciroc every time she sees her. So Mariah Lynn gets upset at the fact that Ciroc is ignoring her, so she takes her shoe off and she throws it at Ciroc. So Ciroc tries to go after her, rightfully so, because why are you throwing stuff at me? And then security would not let Ciroc get to Mariah Lynn, especially because they're supposed to be performing, so there's not supposed to be a fight. But Mariah Lynn shouldn't have been trying to cause a fight to begin with. And then when Natalie shows up, she shows up all happy in a good mood with drinks and everything, and the girls are arguing with each other, and she's trying to tell Ciroc to calm down and to stop it because this isn't the time or the place. But Natalie did speak a little bit too soon because Ciroc wasn't the one who started it. And Ciroc did get a little bit snappy with Natalie because she didn't like that Natalie was telling her to calm down when she wasn't the one that started it. So I can understand why Ciroc was upset, but I can also understand from Natalie's point of view, the only person she sees going off right now is Ciroc, so she's thinking that Ciroc is the one that caused the problem. I don't like the way that Mariah Lynn likes to spin stories though. She tried to make it seem like she didn't start any trouble with Ciroc, that all she was doing was trying to ask Ciroc if everything was good between the two of them, and then Ciroc ignored her, so that's the reason why she threw the shoe at her. It's like, no girl, you were trying to press her. You were very aggressive with the way that you were talking to her, and because she ignored you, you threw a shoe at her, and that's why she was turning up. She can't just try to make it seem like Ciroc just started going off on her for no reason. So Ciroc is in the corner crying a little bit, and Fauna's over there trying to comfort her, but I felt like Fauna was trying to make the situation about her when it was about Ciroc, because she kept bringing up the situation with Lex pretending to be a victim because Lex spit on her, when to me she's not a victim of spit because she spit on somebody else too. I mean, she spit blood at Tavi, so to me she's not a victim. Was Lex wrong? Yes, she was, but Fauna's no victim because she spit on somebody else too. But Ciroc and Natalie clear the air with each other because it was just a miscommunication thing, and I'm glad that they were able to work that out. But the girls start doing their performances and everything's going well. But when Diamond starts performing her fight song, the girls in the crowd start fighting with each other, and it got really crazy to the point where even Lemmy had to tell them to calm down. This is why I wouldn't go to events like this or even go to the club, because I just feel like it's always a fight breaking out, and it's like people want to go out to concerts and to clubs to have a good time, not to get into fights and end up leaving in handcuffs. And I just feel like every time they do a performance, these girls are in the crowd fighting with each other. I mean, maybe Diamond should stop performing that song, because every time she performs that song, fights break out. But then Biggie starts performing the song that she had with Tesehki, and the DJ did not remove Tesehki's verse from the song when she said that she had told the DJ that that part was going to be cut from the song, so don't play it, and she played it anyway. So Biggie gets on the microphone in front of the whole crowd, and she starts saying that she wants Tesehki's verse cut from the song, and that she's not performing with her anymore, and then she brought up Tesehki hugging Lex at the reunion. So it's safe to say that that friendship is done and over with. I knew that it was going to be done anyway, because a lot of these girls on the show that claim to be friends with each other don't really like each other to begin with. But the next day, they end up pulling up to the house in Vegas, and Tavi and Tommie end up having a sit down, which I was not expecting to happen because I didn't really understand what they had to sit down and talk about. But apparently Tavi wanted to talk to Tommie about how she felt about the whole DMX thing. And Tommie is funny to me. A lot of the things she does I don't agree with, but this girl came into the room with Tavi, and as she's sitting down, she starts quoting DMX, and Tavi immediately starts feeling some type of way. Tommie knows exactly what she's doing. She's trying to get under Tavi's skin, and it's working. And look, I can see both sides of this situation. Tommie was playing around about the whole DMX thing. She was joking around, but she said it more than one time. And after Tavi told her that she didn't like it, I feel like Tommie should have stopped, and she did not. And I feel like part of why Tavi felt some type of way about that is because she's a woman. She doesn't want to be compared to a man. and then people on social media already make fun of Tavi and call her a man. So I think she wanted, Tommie to stop, because Tommie calling her DMX was going to get a lot of the fans to start calling her that too, and obviously she feels some type of way about that, and so I can understand why Tavi felt some type of way. I definitely don't think that Tommie meant any harm the first time she said it, but after Tavi told her that she didn't like it, she should have stopped. They did squash it a little bit, but I think there's still a little bit of an issue there, because Tommie was definitely taking shots at Tavi in her confessional. But then Rolly ends up meeting up at the house with Mariah, Lynn, Tesehki, Lex, and Dolly to find out what happened with Biggie and Tesehki's friend. And Tesehki said that basically she showed up with her two friends and Mariah Lynn to meet up with Biggie, and Rocky, her friend, and Biggie end up going back and forth with each other because they heard from somebody that Biggie had been seen hanging out with Ciroc, and so obviously they felt some type of way about it because everybody's been beefing with Ciroc based on her attacking Biggie. So now they're wondering if Biggie set the whole thing up. I don't understand why they would think that she would set herself up to be attacked like that. I mean, because I just don't feel like that's believable. And Ciroc literally said herself that Tommie told her who to go attack. So she didn't say Biggie had anything to do with it. And Biggie and Tommie were beefing at that time. So I just don't think that they would be working together so that Biggie can set up her getting attacked by Ciroc. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, we literally saw in the very first episode of this season that Ciroc and Tommie sat down and had a whole conversation about it. I feel like the story that Rolly said that Biggie told her was more accurate to what happened than what Mariah Lynn and Tesehki are saying, but I don't feel like Tesehki tried to set up Biggie. I just don't feel like she did. I do feel like Mariah was kind of trying to set it up a little bit though, based on the way that she started acting as soon as Tesehki and her friends showed up, because she wasn't going off on Biggie until Tesehki and her friends walked in. As soon as Tesehki and her friends walked in, now she has an attitude, now she's calling Biggie out and all that shit like that. So I feel like she was trying to get something started, and that's just how I feel. The whole Fauna and Lex thing came up in conversation as well, and Rolly got in her confessional and she kind of started taking some shots at Lex about the whole situation, which I'm wondering if they end up filming the confessionals after the season is done or they do it while the season is airing, because if it was done while the season was airing, then she was definitely taking some shots at Lex. But if she did it after the season was airing, then this was after the two of them fought, and that's why she's saying what she's saying. But at the end of this episode, Summer and Tinka end up meeting up, which I was a little bit confused about because I haven't really seen them have an issue with each other since Baddies Midwest when Tinka slapped her in the face. Other than that, we really haven't seen anything from Tinka and Summer, so I was really kind of confused as to why the two of them were having a sit down. And neither one of them could really get their story straight as to why they have an issue with each other. Summer started saying that she's pressing Tinka about if there's an issue between them because when she was going at Natalie on social media, Tinka commented with the eyes under the post, and so she wanted to know if there was a problem because of that. And then Tinka said that her and Summer had talked after the whole eyes comment thing, so she knows that Summer knows there was never an issue because of that. Because Tinka said that her and Summer were on the phone after that situation, and Summer was saying that she didn't have any issue with her and that they were good, so now she's confused as to why Summer's making it like there's a problem. But then they start bringing up stuff that happened with Tommie and the Outsiders, and Summer seems like she's on that with Tinka, so Tinka ended up asking her if she wants to take the fade for Tommie, so she ends up tying her hair up, and the two of them start fighting with each other. Obviously, Summer lost. She was swimming a little bit. She had her head down, and she was swinging blindly at the air the way that she usually does. So, I mean, Tinka ended up winning that. I don't think it was a point for the two of them to fight, but they definitely did. I mean, one part that I thought was kind of funny was that Tinka ended up getting up on the pool table and she tried to dive onto Summer, and the way that the security caught her was funny to me. I felt like I was watching Monday Night Raw and somebody was trying to dive over the top rope. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know. I thought this scene was kind of funny, but I just didn't understand why they were beefing. And Summer goes to the car and Tommie's in the car along with Treve and some other girl, and Treve gets out and she's trying to fight Tinka, and I'm just like, every single time Tommie and Summer pull up somewhere, they always have some outsiders there with them, and Tommie just sits in the car and lets everybody else do her dirty work for her. I mean, everybody's constantly saying that Natalie has minions, but it seems like Tommie more so is the one that has minions, because she gathers up these girls every single season and has them fight all of her battles for her while she sits back and watches these girls get beat up and jumped, and she does nothing and she sits back and laughs. So to me, she's the one who really has minions. And whether Summer wants to admit it or not, she's one of Tommie's minions. But those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies USA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.